Welcome back to the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 7. What's up, Left Hand?
Hey. I'm so excited, man.
You sound really enthusiastic.
I am. You know where we're at?
We are not at our usual studio.
We're on location.
We are broadcasting from the Nashville Armory, one of the nation's, which I've seen on the website says the nation's. Which one is it?
The nation's.
The nation's most technologically advanced indoor range. And it is. It's a really cool range here in Nashville.
It is. This place is absolutely phenomenal.
We've got a couple of guys that work here. We've got Andrew, who is the general manager, and we've got Sean, who is the resident teddy bear.
Yeah, that's me.
I was going to say the guy from the Lord of the Rings. You know,
I was going to say the dumb guy from Duck Dynasty, but I'm not going to go there.
That could hurt feelings.
I was giving him a little tenacity with the character I was liking him to.
He looks mean, but he's sensitive.
Frodo.
Welcome in, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you joining us and letting
thanks.
us host the show here today.
We're very excited about it.
Good deal.
Very fun. It's nice to actually be surrounded by a ton of guns. And in the background, you may hear some guns going off. We're right up against the range. If you hear the pops, you may hear some other stuff like a Coke machine going off. Just ignore that part.
People get thirsty.
That's another thing. I mean, you don't see this at gun ranges either. I mean, you guys have a nice little, what do you call this?
It's the Shooter's Lounge. You're actually
Shooter's
broadcasting
Lounge.
Live from the Shooter's Lounge.
The Shooter's Lounge, where they've got
Live,
actual
kinda.
soda machine. They've got vending machines, microwave, granite countertops.
Paper towels.
I mean, they've spared no expense. This place is decked
We're
out
sitting in
nice.
leather chairs in front of a
We are.
70-inch flat
We
screen.
really
70-inch
are sitting in leather chairs in front
flat
of us. We'll
screen.
send pictures of all this, too.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, they can check them out at your website.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is-
www.nashvillearmory.com. We got lots of pictures on the website.
Check it out.
None of me, though. None of the big teddy bear. I'm not on there at all.
I don't think I'm on there either.
Yeah.
Oh, there's going to be pictures of you after this podcast
not.
on our Facebook.
I like keeping my anonymity.
So
We can do like they do with me when we do our pictures, you know,
Yeah.
post a little something
Yeah,
up over
a little
the,
something
the
over.
face.
That's a good idea.
Keep our Lone Ranger mystique going. You know, I've got to have my trademark.
So, what'd you do this week when it regards firearms?
Well, I've been shopping. I've been online looking for accessories for my toys. Got on and got one of those Troy carbines from the unmentionable place. It just came plain. I mean, it's got the rail and everything, the handguard, but no rails or anything like that. So I ordered some rails for that, and then I've got some lights and lasers and things like that I'm going to mount on it as well. I actually brought it tonight, so maybe get some suggestions from you guys what I can do with it too. And then the Kel-Tec Sub 2000, the 9mm one, that's my new project. And I was talking with Sean on some ideas with that. I'm looking at doing something a little different with it, threading the barrel and getting a suppressor for that. And Sean had some good ideas for that. So what were you were saying something about the
When
sight.
I had my Sub 2000, I don't have it anymore. I sold it foolishly, but when I had it, I had our gunsmith at the time. Before Nashville Armory, but he's been my gunsmith for many years. He built a custom threaded adapter for my Sub 2000, and we kept from having to take the front sight off. He just built a modular piece that kind of went over the front sight and pinned through the barrel like an AK front sight, and it was all concentric to the bore, so it didn't have to worry about any baffle strikes or anything like that. It worked great with a 9mm suppressor on it. I love that little gun with
and I'm thinking that I don't even need that front sight anyway. I mean, it's a piece of crap anyway. And the only way to get it off is you have to either cut it or break it or get a heat gun, which is what I did on my last one, and heated it to where I could loosen it up enough to slide it off, and then I put one of Red Line Precision's sights on there. So I'm okay with losing that sight because I'm going to be posting a red dot or something like that on there anyway.
Sure, yeah. I mean, if the sight doesn't, like I told you earlier, the only thing the sight really does, what'll hinder you in doing if you take it off is it won't lock when it folds anymore, but it's not really a huge deal to lose that sight. And
we can rig something up to
zip ties and duct tape.
There you go, zip ties, Wonder Bread zip ties. They work great.
We can talk to Bill about that and get that done again for yours.
What kind of suppressor do you recommend?
I have some Yankee Hills, but my 9mm suppressor is an AAC Phantom. It's one of the older ones. I don't know if they make the Phantom anymore. I bought it several years ago. They got a lot of new stuff now on the market, and we We just currently put our first big suppressor order in with AAC, so hopefully we'll have...
So you guys are going to start carrying suppressors now?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully
Sweet.
we'll have those here. I'm hoping within...
So y'all are going to start supplying assassins?
Well, whoever.
That's what those are for.
It could be bunny killers. It could be bunny killers. There's lots of little rodents in the neighborhood too.
Yeah. And you got to be quiet with the bunny killer shots.
Yeah.
And those damn squirrels.
I could always T&E one of those for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got the new Tyrant TI-RANT suppressors coming from AAC and 9mm, which would be sweet on the end of that sub 2000.
What are the weight on those? Do you know right off?
I don't. I really don't know the specs on them. I'd have to.
Probably not going to
add
add a whole lot of weight to it.
No, they're fairly light because they're aluminum. They're aluminum cans with stainless blast baffles, which is the only part that's really stainless in it. So they're balanced out really, really well.
Sweet. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So y'all are done with your sub 2000 Love Fest?
Well, are you bored?
No.
You just felt left out.
I want one, and like you said, I felt left out.
What's your name on the list?
Well, my week in firearms, I got to have a little fun with a local newscaster. I'm not even going to give them the justification of giving the channel, but he did a expose. I put that in quotation marks about the Barrett 50 cal and the ultimate weapon of war.
How did I
and
miss this?
it was on that channel. I'm going to point it out. I'm not even going to say it.
Oh.
Anyway, so he had a little Twitter chat afterwards, and I basically handed him his own. You can fill in the blanks there. It was awesome. I got on there, and there was a couple people that were getting on there and going back and forth with him, and then he started coming out with these just blatant BS lies. Oh, you can go online at many websites and buy armor-piercing ammo and incendiary rounds. And I kept asking, where? Tell me where. Show me where. Where's your facts? And I wasn't getting inflammatory. I was just asking questions. And then there was...
Because you were looking for some of those rounds?
Yeah. No.
Inflammatory rounds?
Inflammatory remarks. So he kept going back and forth with the people, and then I can't even remember the question. I was trying to look it up on Twitter just now, but I finally asked him one question, and then there was no response, and he came back with his, "Oh, sorry, everybody, my computer crashed. I'm going to have to finish this tomorrow." And then he didn't even do a Twitter chat the next day. So we got 20 Twitter followers off of that. People just started saying, "Hey, thanks for joining the fight." It was awesome. I was doing a little Rocky dance in the living room.
I think you should continue that. You need to poke and prod and see if you can't get more response out of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Don't let him just off the hook that easy, man.
Well, I remember the question was that I asked him. He kept just harping on the Barrett 50 cal, the Barrett 50 cal, and I was like, "Why are you going after the Barrett 50 cal?" He was like, "I'm not. It's just a weapon of war." And I'm like, "You were talking about nothing with that. If you want to seriously go after a 50 caliber sniper rifle, then there's tons of other 50 caliber sniper rifles you can go after. But you were harping on the Barrett. You were talking about Ronnie Barrett. It was just Barrett. It's obvious. That's when he said the whole, "Oh, my computer crashed. Sorry,
Well, obviously, he's one of those ignorant, and when I say ignorant, uneducated individuals that think that that's the only 50 caliber that exists.
Yeah. Another thing I've been doing, I've been getting ready for the rally tomorrow, and I know once you guys hear this, the rally's going to be over, but on the 8th, tomorrow, Friday, 10 a.m., we'll be going to that. Are you still going to try to go?
There's no try to it. I'm there, dude.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
You guys going?
Gotta work, man. Gotta sell the guns. Take care of the people.
You've got to be there after we get all fired up and come flooding in here buying everything.
We'll be there in spirit, absolutely.
Maybe
handing out flyers.
Maybe I could show up a little late to work. Who knows?
We could probably work that out.
It'd be good promotion for the store.
Yeah.
A lot of gun buyers there.
There are. Corrections from last week. I said the word CSX4 Thorm 5 times. Talking about the CX4. And I think what it was is where we record, the radio station is right next to a rail yard. And I kept saying the CSX train thing. It just came out that way.
You guys believe that BS explanation?
It sounds good. It sounds good.
It's supposed to be
we'll go with it.
Yeah. See? And then Brian B. from Canadian Service Conditions Radio, part of the Canadian Reload Radio podcast out there.
Bunch of Canucks.
Yeah, he pointed out that the M1 Garand was chambered in 30-06, which we both knew, and my excuse was I was sick, and I talked you into it being 30-30, but...
I just ran with it because I didn't want to argue.
Yeah.
I had other things on my mind. I was trying to make a point.
But after the war, they did come out with 308s and 270 Winchesters. And yes, we will admit, we are man enough to say a Canadian pointed that out to us. And we were humbled for days.
And we appreciate you hosers for listening.
Well,
thank you.
I believe wasn't John Garand Canadian?
I think he was actually.
Yes, I
Was
believe,
he?
I
Yeah.
believe the man who invented it was Canadian.
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad.
I think he
now.
was.
There we go.
Then they
I believe
should
he
have
was.
pointed it out to us. A.
Yeah.
They should have been the ones.
I'm going to say A the rest of the. It's kind of fun to say A.
Oh boy.
Well, you three, and I've got one coming in too. But we've got the nice Canadian beards
A.
coming in.
They got good beer.
Yours is not quite
The
there yet.
beers,
coming.
beers are delicious.
It's a long
beers
way
are 2 days.
Beers, 2 days.
Beers
That's
are
not
great.
shabby. That's not shabby for 2 days.
Okay, thanks.
So
It's about a week.
one of the reasons we're here at the Armory today, we're going to go over we're going to take the customer side, go over some annoyances we've seen and felt and been around in different gun stores. Of course, not here. And then they're going to tell us some of the annoyances they get from what's going on. Me, yesterday, I called left hand on this. Yesterday, I went into a local gun store, and all the negative stuff we're going to say, even some of the listeners, we're going to take the names of the stores out of the negative ones. But I went to a local gun store yesterday, walked in, one customer in the whole store. I walk around, look at the holsters, walk back over, look at some of the guns. They've got a little L-shaped counter, and I'm looking through the guns, and there's 3 or 4 employees in there the entire time. They're looking at me, they see me, and I walk up to the guns, and they had a whole wall full of ARs and AK. And so I'm looking with
wish I
big
had a whole wall full of ARs and
saucer
AKs.
eyes going, ooh, wow. Waiting for somebody to say, hey, we just got those in, or hey,
Well,
you want to
you
look at
could
something?
if you did it the way that they do it.
Oh, okay.
And this
Yeah.
is not an exaggeration. 15 to 20 minutes I was in there without one single hello, not one single welcome to blank, not one single would you like to look at anything. At one point I was standing at the counter looking down in the glass case, and one of the employees was standing right next to me. Not one word said. And so finally I just did a little psh, and I walked out shaking my head, and I'll never go back again.
I can attest to that as well, because just 2 days before that, so this isn't just a random event that maybe they were off their game one day. 2 days prior to that, I was in the same place, and there was at least 4, maybe 5, I don't know how many employees they have there, but it seemed like there was maybe 2 or 3 customers in there. Some people in the shooting range. Of course, they don't have to deal with them up front. But I walked in, I was there, I know, 10 minutes at least, and you can be done with that store in 2. So I had 10 minutes. I've done 15 laps in that store. Looked at everything in the case, on the walls, picked up everything that was on the shelves. Not one word, not even eye contact. That's what disturbed me, because I would try to make eye contact with them, and they would conveniently keep their conversation to themselves, still talking, acting like they're doing something on the computer. And finally, I sat there, I leaned up against it, kicked my legs up, and I just, I was not leaving there until somebody talked to me. I was determined to see how long it would take for them to do it. And I wasn't the only person in it. There was 2 or 3 other people that came in while I was doing this too, that didn't get any attention or recognition while they were there either. So finally, I can't give names or anything, so dude comes up to me and says, is there something I can show you? I was like, well, actually there is. Because there was a couple of guns I was curious about, because they had ARs and they had AKs, and I was like, where did you guys get all this stuff? So he's talking to me about it. I said, let me see that one right there. He pulls it down and he goes, this is a consignment gun. I said, oh, okay. I said, what kind of price you got on it? I think it wasn't a Bushmaster. I can't remember. It was a Colt. It was a Colt AR.
Because the Bushmaster is the most evil of all of them.
Well, they had a Bushmaster too there
bad.
too, but I mean, it was basic. It had maybe a light on it. Maybe it had a front post sight and had a flip up rear sight. It had one magazine, no case, no sling. Kind of worn looking. It wasn't in the best of condition. $3,000.
Ouch.
They were asking, and I said, okay. I said, do you got, what are these other ones? They're all consignment. Every one of them was consignment. And he said, this is the cheapest one we got. So they went up from there. It was ridiculous. And he was like,
In their defense, it's a consignment gun. They don't set the price. The customer who put the gun on consignment sets the price.
oh, and I understand that, but at the same time,
Just throwing that out there. Just
I
throwing
mean,
that
I
out
see
there.
you guys have stock here. I mean, I'm looking at your walls right now, and you've got guns in, and you actually have an AR in here that's in a 7.62, but those aren't consignment guns. You're actually getting vendor
Yeah, it's a 5.56. It's a SIG 5.56
SIG
and
5.56.
7.60.
Yeah, in
About
the-
39.
But it's an
a
AR
piston
style.
gun.
It's not an AK style, right?
And I mean, prices have gone up a little tiny bit.
I understand that. I understand that.
But there is a difference.
But you would
between-
think that they would have
between
vendors and
what
they would
I-
be able to get some stock in, you
Right.
know, and they
And-
would. But nothing on their wall was stock.
And there's a difference. I tell people there's a difference between gun broker prices and what people don't have to, people on selling stuff on gun broker don't have to, they have no, I don't want to say morals, but they don't have to stand back and say, they don't have to sit back and say, I'm not a brick and mortar store. I'm not going to stand there
Right.
and nobody's going to realize who I am.
They don't have a reputation to uphold.
They don't have to face a customer.
We have the reputation. Okay, we're going to be here for a while. We're not going to get into that whole price gouging thing. We want to try to give our customers the best deal that we can, and we don't want to get into that. But prices have gone up a little bit, but they're not $3,000 prices. I see a lot of that
Right.
online.
I mean, as a retail store, and you've got a customer that comes in that wants to consign something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be professional enough to say, "Look, guy, we're not the place for you to sell this store. Go to the pawn shop or something like that."
That's why we don't do consignments.
Exactly. And that says a lot about you guys too. So that was my big pet peeve, is that they'd let trash like that in their door.
Well, I'm just glad that Andrew does such a great job at dealing with so many good vendors out there that we're actually getting
Can I
stuff
have a
in.
raise?
That we're actually getting stuff in, and we don't have to ask our customers to bring their stuff in so we can sell it for them.
Right.
We're actually selling guns that we're
And I guess that's the
buying.
point that I was
Yeah,
trying to make
yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
But you guys,
It's a lot of time doing that.
You guys get some really hard to get stuff in here, and with you guys being kind of the new kids on the block.
This is where you got your
Yeah,
Sub
that's-
2000, right?
Yeah.
The 9mm, right?
Yeah, got it here, and you guys have had the KSGs in, and I notice you've got you've got that 5.56 in. Those aren't real easy to come by.
Yeah, and we just
The
different
gun
things
sight,
like
so
the
you
best.
got a gun sight up there.
We do the best we can, and just like today, we had a customer who got a Scar 17. He'd been waiting a while for it.
Yeah.
but we got it
They
in.
got it.
We called him. He came in and picked it up, happy as he could be. And that's just it. I got some shields in last week, so I got to call 6 happy customers to come in and pick up their shields, and
Yeah.
they were happy, and they came in and run in.
Those are hot sellers right
3PM
now.
too.
Yeah,
too.
and 3 PMR 30s we got.
Oh,
in,
did
so-
you get the
Yeah.
PMR 30s?
Yeah.
And Andrew found my Mr. 40 that I constantly talk about, that I always have in my EDC check store.
We
And we
found
had to
it.
do some digging. It's kind of a rare gun, although I've learned the hard way. If you have a rare gun, it's hard to find accessories for it.
Oh yeah, no holsters, baby. I told you that.
Yeah.
I told you when
found
you
one,
ordered
though.
it.
The little Focus works. And
That's
then
what-
the other guy that works here, Scott, he's
Yeah,
going to be
Scotty
making
could
me one.
fix
So.
you up. Yeah.
That Walther PPS was the same way.
Yeah.
There's virtually no accessories for it whatsoever.
They're coming out though. Those guns are really gaining a lot of popularity. So
they
you'll see the
picking up
accessories.
now?
You'll see the accessories start to
Man, they've been
start
out
to
for
free
like
up a little bit.
4
in that.
years now, haven't they?
Well, holster manufacturers, they go by how many units are moved, how many units are sold, and if they, a percentage of those guns they can sell a holster for. And so they do a equation that says it costs us X amount of dollars to tool up to make a fit, and we've got to be able to sell X number of holsters to pay for that fit. So if they've only sold 10,000 of a particular model, there's only a small percentage of those they're going to get that holster sale for.
Well,
so
luckily
it's got to make
enough-
sense for them.
Luckily enough, this one is kind of one of those standard sizes to where there are already things out that fit it.
Yeah, that's why those holsters, any shape, size, or whatever you want for a Glock 19.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
That's
A
what-
couple
that's my
million
next
of those
gun.
running around.
Yeah.
yeah. But there's also these places that will do custom holsters for you,
Absolutely.
such as the what was the one
Concealment Solutions.
concealment solutions that our listeners had recommended to me, and you guys know a good guy too, right?
Yeah, one of our guys that works here for us, Scott. There's 2 guys that work here for
Travis
us.
does
yeah,
them too,
Travis
yeah.
does them too. Yeah.
Okay.
Scott and Travis that work here for us.
So maybe they
did my
can come
handgun
up with-
carry training, right?
Yeah, Travis,
Okay.
yeah.
and they both do a lot of Kydex molded holsters.
Okay. So they're local.
yeah, they're local.
These guys are out like in Utah, and I would have to ship him my
Yeah, oh,
light.
yeah.
So I'll get them to look
And
at
the
it
cool
then.
thing about it is appendix carries growing a lot of popularity
That's
in
what I'm
the,
getting
in the
into
carry
now.
market, and there's not a lot of major manufacturers that make appendix holsters. Well, you get a custom guy that can build one for you. It's really easily done, and their turnaround's pretty quick.
Awesome.
One of the other things, talking about annoyances when you go to gun stores, I put down is the certain brand name fanboy workers at certain gun shops. Not here.
Glock.
1911.
No, I have those here too.
Yeah.
I have some of those here too.
Really? Well, you go in to look at.
I've got my.
Say I go in to look at my Mr. 40. Perfect example. I went to a place in Clarksville, and I go in to look for that gun. And the guy's like, "Oh, you don't need that gun." Well, I've done a lot of research. I really like it. I'm really intrigued by it. That's what I want to get. Nope, you don't need it. Well, what do I need? Glock 19. Okay. Well, what else do you have here that's similar to what I'm looking for? Nope, you need Glock 19. And he just Glock, 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 Glock. It just got so annoying. And then what's funny is in that same store, he got busy with another customer, and then I talked to this older gentleman there. 1911. You need 1911.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. If you ain't got a 1911, you ain't got a gun. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm just sitting there going, from a businessman standpoint, I'm going, I would fire both these guys instantly. Get like 500 guns that you could sell.
And you definitely have to keep your personal opinions out of gun
sure.
sales. You can put your personal views of what you've seen,
personal experiences,
and experiences and stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to selling a firearm and making sure somebody gets the right gun for them, it's not about what was right for you. It's about what's right for them. And if they've already got their mind set on what they think they want, help them with that. I mean, don't try to steer them into it, unless somehow it was going to hurt them in some way.
Right.
But I mean, there's no firearm that we sell or most gun shops sell that are going to hurt somebody. I'm not going to say that there's any guns out there that wouldn't do that, but we don't sell them here. So
yeah. My take on that is, I appreciate somebody who's emphatic about a certain product, because usually it comes from a good experience that they've had with it. So I want to hear their side of it. But at the same time, I don't want them not leaving other options open for me as well. From my point of view, if I'm talking Glocks, I'm looking at Glock, I want somebody who knows that and is a fanboy.
And has a lot of factual information that can back it up.
Exactly. But then it's up to me ultimately to make my own decision. As a gun buyer, I think one of our listeners made this point too, and I'm not going to rain on his parade, but you need to educate yourself a little bit before you go into a gun store and know a little bit about what you're getting into, so you don't get pushed in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's true. And my take on it too is opinions are great if a customer asks you for an opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
If a customer says, "I want a specific gun," sell it to them.
Or they should be asking a question that they're not.
And I'll be honest with you, we've got some great staff here. We got great people here to get them the gun that they want.
Yeah.
So that's another big thing about selling firearms on my end. Listen to the customer, and if they want your opinion, by all means, give it to them. Mm-hmm. If they ask you because they're here to someone that does this for a living, they want to know a question. Have at it. But if they walk in like. When Zeke walked in and said, "I want a Mr. 40," I'm like, what? In my head, I'm like, what a hunk of crap. Why does this guy want this gun?
Wait.
I didn't say that. I said, hang on. Let me find it for you.
I think
interesting choice.
If I remember correctly, let me show you what's in my bag that is identical to the gun you're looking for. And I think that was the real story.
Yeah. So there's ways to do it.
Yeah, I'm just teasing Zeke.
Kind of what you were saying about leading them to the gun that they need. That's another thing I see a lot of. Somebody brings their wife, girlfriend, sister in. Oh, here's a little 22. Here's a little 38 special. It's like, come on. I mean, my wife, she shoots my 357 better. She shoots the 38 special.
I could go on for hours about that. I mean, something that infuriates me more than anything is when a guy, whether it be a father, a husband, a boyfriend, whatever it may be, wants to buy a gun for their significant other or their daughter or a woman in their life.
Terrible idea.
And it's a horrible idea. It's like a pair of shoes. I mean, and they always want to buy the biggest gun for themselves, but yet put the smallest gun in the female's hands.
Yeah. Because they want a better chance if she ends up shooting in.
I think that's what it is. I really do. I think that's what it is. But I mean,
and we get to the reality of that.
It's the gun that's going to recoil more. It's going to be the lighter gun that's going to hurt them, and it's just horrible. Or they always come up with, I want this semi-automatic for me, but I got to give my wife this revolver. And what that, I mean, it's plain English. They're calling their wife almost stupid right in front of their face.
Incompetent.
I mean,
it's like, you're not confident.
Wait a second, I carry a revolver. Hold on.
I do too. I mean, but they do it by the means of a revolver simple and it never jams. And revolvers do jam. They're typically ammunition malfunctions, but they do jam. They're a mechanical device. A woman will always, or anybody will always shoot a semi-automatic better probably than they will a revolver. There's typically
as Andrew's got his fingers pointing to himself, saying, "Not this guy."
but for some weird reason, they think a revolver is made for a woman.
It's what you're comfortable with.
It's what you're comfortable
even a
with.
woman. It's like you said, bring them in, and you guys have a plethora of guns that they could try out here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How many rental guns do you all have?
63 to be exact.
Rental guns?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
from all shapes and sizes.
All kinds of
So
calibers.
the best thing to do is to come in, get an array of those guns, come out here to the range, get the battleship targets.
You guys love battle.
I've got people
And have
wanting me to
at.
ship those things to them.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Well, you know what? I'll give a throw out to my buddy at gunfund.com.
Is that
You
where
can
you got
order
it?
them.
Okay.
You can order them.
Gotcha.
He's an
He's
awesome
super,
guy.
super good guy out of Alabama. Really
Very
nice
cool.
guy. His name's Bennett. He'll be happy to ship you some, I'm sure.
Yep.
Nice.
Gun fun. Okay.
Gun Fun Targets.
Very, very cool.
Good deal.
Had a couple listeners send in
that out.
their little annoyances. Once again, we are taking the names out. So if listeners, if you submitted these and you're going, hey, you didn't mention the name, we're not going to bash the stores by name.
But you can always get on Twitter and do it yourself.
Yeah. Jay Nagel sent a message saying a local store in Illinois. You go to the sales rep and ask for something, and you get a snotty reply. We don't have that, sir. Sorry for bothering you at work, I thought to myself. Found what I was looking for and went to pay, and the sales clerk had the same I'm too busy to help attitude. I ended up not buying the item in question. I left, and I will never go there again. Keith R. These guys said we could say their last name, but I can't pronounce his last name. Keith R. said, in South Louisiana, while I still laugh to myself after I leave, it is annoying when he goes to some of the big name box outdoor stores and waits in line like everyone else. Yet when it's my turn at the gun counter, I'm always met with what must be the least knowledgeable employee when it comes to guns. Also, when I enjoy seeing new shooters come and buy their new first gun, I can't stand when I have to wait on someone who's asking the difference between a revolver and a Glock. The least you can do is a little research before going to the gun store, which is what you were
My
talking about
point.
earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to ask these
Yes, I
questions of you like we ask these of everybody that comes on the show. How did you get into firearms, and what has been the evolution of how you've gotten to the point you are now? Sean, you go first.
Well, I guess my whole firearms career kind of started off really when I was about 4 years old. When going back that far, when my father got me into firearms. My father was a firearms dealer. He was a gunsmith. He was a machine and tool guy by trade. So it just naturally, always wanted to do something with Dad. That's what I did. And my love for firearms started at a very early age.
Yeah,
I think,
four's pretty early.
Oh yeah, I think when I shot my first .44 Magnum when I was 6 years old, I think it probably sunk in my head that I really liked guns at that point. Of course, I would probably never do that to my 6-year-old, but it was one of those love or hate things, and I guess I loved it. I can't think of one.
Well, I'm sure he wouldn't have let you if he didn't think you were mature enough to handle it.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, it literally, thinking back on it, I don't think there was ever a year, even growing up in high school and everything else, that I'd never had a year that went by in my life that I was not into firearms. Whether it was going four-wheeling and with my buddies, we always had guns with us. We always shot, so it was never a time in my life where I was not in firearms.
Yeah.
When I moved to Tennessee about almost 20 years now, I love this area, and when I finally got the opportunity to start doing it for a living, it was like a dream come true. I've been in the industry for right at about 10, 11 years now.
Yeah.
And when Nashville Armory opened up, I knew I had to work here. I mean, it was a perfect location.
And he was persistent.
I was very persistent, yeah. And it's one of those things. I've always loved the firearm industry. I've always loved the guns. I've loved the reloading side of it, the hunting side of it, everything that goes with it.
Did you say your dad was in the military?
No, my dad was not in the military. I have no military background at all.
Okay.
Everything that I do, everything that I've learned has been self-taught.
Just from homegrown goodness.
Yeah, I all the training I've done, everything that I've ever done, I've done on my own. And
what was the first firearm that you can say that? I mean, it was your first one.
First firearm,
not your dad's, or
first firearm I purchased on my own or was given to me.
Well, given to would be fine too.
Okay,
yeah.
Given to me was a Remington 870 Wingmaster that I still currently own.
Nice.
First one that I ever bought on my own was a Ruger Ruger SP101. It was when I turned 21. I went and bought my own gun. I actually had a new credit card, and I said, I got to go try this credit card thing out. Well, let's go buy a gun. So I went and bought a gun. The first firearm I ever shot was a Colt single action 22 Peacemaker, which I currently don't have the same one that I shot, but I have one exactly like it that I found. Yeah, so.
We were talking a while back, and you were telling me that you're really big into the 6-shooters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and most people when they meet me, they don't think that I'm into that kind of stuff. It's kind of what I grew up with. We shot a lot of lever action guns, a lot of pump shotguns, a lot of single action firearms. My father was a huge John Wayne fan, so naturally made me a huge John Wayne fan, you know, whatnot. So growing up with those types of guns, they've always been a dream to own those, and now I do own several of those. But
do you do any of those cowboy shoots?
I don't. I was going to get into the cowboy action shooting at one time. It seemed like it was right up my alley, but I just never went through with it.
Have you been to one?
Oh yeah, I've been down to
those things are phenomenal. I love them.
I've been down to War Trace, down where they do
the
them.
War Trace.
It's awesome.
War Trace Renegades, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're a good bunch of guys down there. Yeah, but I mean, I still do the tactical side. Obviously, I mean that's my. That still is one of my big things, but I have a certain place in my heart for all the old Western guns, the single action stuff and whatnot.
Money permitting, and the tactical stuff right now, but that's something I would like to get into down the road.
I think everybody has a little side of them that likes that single action gun, just something about the sound of it when it. When the hammer cocks back with the 4 clicks and everything, it's just
Clint Eastwood, man.
It's just, I think everybody's seen some
one
Westerns
of the biggest
out there.
icons there are out there in the Western shooters,
and they gotta have one of their own. So,
and you have children, right?
Yes, sir. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old daughter.
You didn't just call me sir, did you?
Sean called left-handed sir.
I can't help it.
That's awesome.
He's a sir to me. Yeah.
Drop the sirs on. We'll edit that out.
It's going in.
Is that going in?
I have a 6 and 8-year-old daughter, and they're both into firearms. They have been ever since they were little. I brought them up that it was a fixture in our home, and they're perfectly safe with them.
Told them to respect it.
Told them to respect it. That they don't touch them unless Dad's around. They actually own their own firearms. We go out as a family and we shoot together. The 2 biggest things that I can teach them right now that mean the most to me would be the 2 first cardinal safety rules out of the 4 is where to point the muzzle and where their finger goes. Other than that, I really don't care that they're not hitting the target right now. Yeah. So, but they're very, very safe with them. You could ask them right now if they were standing next to us, where's your finger go?
Now, you said they have their own?
Oh, yeah. They both have.
What do they have?
They both have Walther P22 pink digital camo.
Of course.
Pistols, and they both have their own sporter weight pencil thin barreled AR-15s too with 22 conversions in them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Have you got pictures of those? We're gonna have to post those pictures.
I think I do on my phone. Yeah, I got pictures of them shooting them actually. They're little Walther P22s with suppressors on them.
That's cool.
So, Andrew, same question to you. How'd you get into firearms? And
very similar to Sean. I probably started shooting when I was 3 or 4 years old. My dad's a shooter. He likes to shoot. I'm from a big family, 7 people.
That's a big family these days.
7 kids. So I've got 3 older brothers. So there's 4 boys. I'm from a big family. I've got 3 brothers, 3 sisters, and we all shoot. Everybody in my family shoots.
Are you the youngest?
I'm the youngest of the boys. I have 2 younger sisters.
Okay.
Yep. So I have 3 older brothers. That's why I'm so mean now.
So you were saved from the older sister.
No, I had 1 older sister.
The 1 older sister.
1 older sister, 2 younger sisters. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we all shoot. It's kind of a family thing when I was a kid. So yeah, my dad's a nut for 22s, high standards and Ruger 22 pistols. He can't get enough of them. So yeah, I've just shot my whole life.
No military law enforcement?
Nope. Okay. They wouldn't take me. When I was, I guess I was 18. It was right after I turned 18. I went to join the Marine Corps, and it was during Clinton.
Uh-huh.
And they healthed me out, so I couldn't join up because they weren't taking a lot of people back then. During the Clinton years when they were downsizing the military.
Looking for any excuse to turn somebody away?
Yeah, pretty much. And I wouldn't change it though. I got into the business.
What was your first firearm?
My first firearm was a Ruger 1022, as probably many young people in this country. Everybody got a 1022. I still think it's the best semi-automatic 22 money can buy.
Do you remember where it was purchased from?
I have no idea because I got it for my 12th birthday. It's my first actual gun that I owned. I got it for my 12th birthday. I don't know where my dad picked it up, but I would imagine he probably picked it up at one of the local gun shops. And I don't know where. I'll have to ask him that.
You guys know you used to mail order guns.
I'm not that old, Lefty.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not either.
How old are you guys?
I'm 35.
You're 35. Well, you're not. I'm 41.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
40.
mean, I know when I was younger, you could still do that
Middleman.
back in
Yeah.
the 70s.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we're not that far removed from those days.
No, I guess 60.
Well, even when we were kids,
yeah.
you could walk
60,
into a
68.
hardware store and
doing
buy
a
a
hot gun.
22.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah, I can remember my dad talking about buying guns mail order or buying them.
Yeah,
for,
and there was never heard of
hardware
any mass
stores.
shootings or
Nah.
problems with guns or anything.
People were a lot different back then.
Oh, yeah.
Sean kind of went over his without us asking, which was cool. Less stuff we have to say, but we kind of talk about pop culture, guns, movies, games, whatever you're into. What's kind of your favorite pop culture item that has to do with guns?
Oh, pop culture. I don't know if I'm not a pop culture guy, but
Movies or
You don't watch
probably
movies?
I
Listen
had
to
to
music?
I had to get an M1 carbine the first time I saw Carbine Williams, the old Jimmy Stewart movie when I was a kid. I fell in love with it, and my granddad brought one back from World War II, and I knew he had it, and I wanted it so bad.
Oh my God!
And still don't have it. My dad's got it still, but I will have it one day. It will be mine. But I've since purchased several M1 carbines. But yeah, that's probably the first movie gun I ever saw that I just absolutely had to have was an M1 carbine.
Very
Jump
cool.
my case about Sears and Roebuck, and then he brings up a Jimmy Stewart movie.
Hey, baby, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Now we'll kind of talk about the Armory a little bit. So tell us a little about the Armory, about some of the technological stuff that you have in the range itself that makes it set out from everybody else.
Well, I'll go right on into that for you, Zeke. What we've got here, as far as we'll talk about the range just by itself first, I guess. We have an action target, what they call their 100% containment steel bullet trap system. It's 25 yards, 75 feet. We have 16 lanes, 8 lanes that are rifle rated, 8 lanes that are handgun rated. And you can shoot any handgun calibered rifles on our handgun side as well. Our rifle range will handle any rifles below a 50 BMG. You can shoot 50 calibers here, just not BMGs. You can shoot a 50 Beowulf, a 50 AE, any of those type of calibers.
What's the reason for that?
Well, actually, our range will handle a 50 BMG. You could shoot a 50 BMG and it wouldn't damage our range.
Right.
But the volume and the concussion from it will actually knock the lights out.
Wow.
Oh my gosh!
And so it's more the concussion from the 50 BMG. Our range would actually handle it. You could discharge 50 BMGs in here if you wanted to, not
It's
armor
just the
piercers,
explosion.
but yeah, it's just too much for the range.
Gotcha.
We have a MANCOM targetry system. It's the only one currently installed in a range in the world.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's they're trying to sell some more. We've had several people come here and tour it from all over the country.
Wow.
To check it out. It's kind of their little action, the MANCOM demo site here for our
Canadians
Talk about how
do
that
they?
works.
yeah, they're a bunch of Canadians. They're cool guys. They're very, very cool guys. And so it does a lot of really, really, really cool stuff.
Talk about a little bit how that works.
Well, it's fully programmable. It runs. It comes back and forth. It turns. It spins. It does fakies. You can do good guy, bad guys. It strobes. You can turn the lights off. Strobe blue, red, white, amber.
Wow.
It actually strobes on the carrier and in the shooting stall.
So you can have a dance club in there too.
Well, if hey,
Can you synchronize them?
If they ban all the guns, we're turning into a Cuban nightclub.
There you go.
That's what Gary, the owner, says. That's what we're doing. We're going to hit those lights, smoke cigars. We got the ventilation, no problem.
There you go.
That's one thing I love about the first thing I noticed when I shot here the first time. You walk in there and you shoot, and then you leave, and you're like, I didn't smell that gunpowder lead smell. It's like, and you leave and your clothes smell normal. It's where most smaller ranges you do have that just coated with the
and that's
the
the
stank.
next the next feature of our range is we have absolutely state of the art HVAC. If you see the units behind our building, you'd be like, that looks like the units from a hospital.
Yeah.
Our air moves over 75 feet per minute on the lane. It's fully filtered. It's triple filtered. You've got 3 levels of filtration, including HEPA filtration. It's heated. It's cooled. It's always nice and comfortable in there. Some people get a little cold, some people get a little hot. But, we keep it at a nice, steady temperature, usually around 67 degrees, winter and summer. So it's really pleasant to shoot in there. It's just, it's a fantastic range. And I know I'm the general manager of the place, but I'm also a shooter, and I've been shooting my whole life. And I can honestly say I've never shot on an indoor range that was not military or government-owned.
Yeah.
Anywhere near as nice as this place. It is just fantastic, and it's a great place to shoot.
Well, I think the volume of people that are here speaks loads for
Loudly.
that. I mean, you guys are packed tonight.
On a Thursday.
Thursday
night.
We were packed at 9 a.m. this morning.
Wow. Have you guys? Has it always been that way since you've opened, or have you noticed a increase since the big gun scare?
The range is always bumping
Always
here.
been that way.
If you're new to shooting and you want to come out when it's not bumping, weeknights, Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays are pretty busy. Tuesdays, don't bring your rifles because we have IDPA. So if you guys shoot IDPA competition, we have
I'll start that.
We've had our first 2. This coming up Tuesday will be our 3rd.
Very cool.
So we do have an IDPA shoot. It's the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month, every month. So we have 2 every month.
What does someone do to get involved with that?
Come
with
show
you
up,
guys?
bring you a gun, bring you a holster. If you don't have any bullets, we'll sell you some here. We'll get you fixed up. The guys are great that run it. David Parks, he's my guy that runs it. He's moved up here from Atlanta and ran indoor matches in Atlanta, which is indoor IDPA is very, very popular down in Atlanta.
Now, did you talk about getting into doing some of that, Zeke?
Oh,
No,
you're
I'm
gonna love
to
it.
get into it.
Yeah, you're going to love it. It's a ton of fun. It's not that expensive. We usually run 3 to 4 stages. It's $20 for IDPA members, $25 for non-IDPA members, so it's not real expensive.
It's not bad
and
at
it's
all.
a whole lot of fun. And we put up all kinds of props, walls, doors, windows.
That's awesome.
You go forward
So
to
you
the
almost
range.
make like a little shoot house in
Yeah,
there.
that's
absolutely.
exactly what
Yeah,
it's
that's
like.
pretty
It's
cool.
exactly what it's like. It's very cool. There's a lot of rules, so go to IDPA's website if you're really interested in shooting and do a little. But we do have a new shooter briefing before, and they'll help you out.
Very
We had a lot of new shooters so far, and they've had a lot of fun.
So as far as customers go, we got to tell the annoyances we have with stores. What kind of crazy stories do y'all have from here that you're
customers.
allowed to say without losing your job?
Well, we're not going to say annoyances, but we'll do some funny things that customers say.
There
we
you
get
go.
we get a lot of amusing things that customers say, and a lot of it is just because we get a lot of new people here, and I love new shooters. So don't get me wrong.
Right.
You can't ask a stupid question to me. We're going to help you out. That's what we're here for. If you don't know, just ask. We'll help you out. But we do get some amusing things. Like I was telling Sean, I got a great phone call. Guy said, do you guys have a gunsmith? And I said, yeah, we have a gunsmith. He's here on Saturdays, and he can work on your stuff. He's like, does he work on semi-automatics? And I just said, well, yes, sir, he sure does. Come on down Saturday, and he'll get you fixed up. He's like, well, thank you.
Yeah, a lot of things that we hear, from time to time is just, it kind of goes back to you guys saying maybe not educating themselves a little bit before they come in and ask a question or think about the question before it comes out of their mouth. So it's, I need a holster for a 9mm, and there's no other information than that other than a 9mm.
9mm.
So you've got to ask them, well, what kind of gun it is?
they're all
it,
standard size.
and then they
It's
know
silver.
Yeah, it's a Smith & Wesson 9mm. Okay,
Shines.
Has a trigger.
What model? I don't know that. Just little things like that. Or the differences between 38 and 380. A lot of people get that mixed up and think it's just the same cartridge. So they'll point at a revolver and want to see that 380, or they'll want to point at that 380 semi-automatic and see that, but they'll call it a 38. So little things like that. But we're, like I said, like Andrew said, there's no stupid question. We were at some point, I'm sure we were all uneducated about what we knew
absolutely.
about firearms too, and there's customers that still catch us for a loop every so often. I had a customer the other day ask me out of the blue. He said, "What's the special in 38 Special?" And I literally had to stop and go, "I don't know."
What
Good
episode was
question.
it? What episode? 2? Caliber Craziness?
Yeah,
There
Caliber
you go.
Craziness.
Yeah.
We talked
So I-
Refer him to the
Well,
podcast.
I went and did research on it and looked it up. It was crazy. I mean, but it bugged me that much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
There's
it
a lot
does.
of things
it-
you just take for granted.
You just take for granted. That's
it's always
exactly.
been 38 special.
You can't know, and you can't know everything. I mean, if you did, we'd be a walking encyclopedia, but we're not. We actually have lives.
But you,
And you'll
but
probably
you
never-
didn't just
I don't have a
dismiss it.
life.
Yeah.
You actually told the guy, "Hey, let me research that, and I'll get back to you."
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, and the next person that ever asked me that, I know the answer. Then I put it in my little toolbox, and it educates myself to help that customer the next time he comes in.
And now I know you don't remember this, but you sold me my first handgun.
I know I did. I do remember it. Somebody asked me how I
Didn't
knew
you sell
you.
your first
We
AR
always
too?
remember the
Yeah, I
first
sold you
timers.
first AR.
Yeah,
I
we
always
sold
remember
the
the
first
first
AR too.
timers. Yeah. Yeah, somebody asked me the other day how I knew you, and I said, I think I sold him his first. I know I sold him his first AR. I think I sold him his first pistol too, but I'm not sure.
You did. You
Yeah.
sold me the Glock 22
Yep.
with the Crimson Trace.
Yep.
You
I
know,
was all
I'm
dead
going to
set.
put in some like romantic music in the background here, right?
We're gonna hug later.
I was on my way to Franklin to Academy Sports, and they had this special that I saw in the Sunday Flyer or whatever it was for those. Oh God, what are they? The Sigmas.
Oh,
is it Smith and Wesson
Smith
Sigma?
and Wesson Sigma.
Yeah.
See, I don't know that one.
It's
They were like two.
it's a good thing not to know.
good thing not to know it. Yeah.
And now I know that.
Yeah.
Well, those are good throw guns.
Yeah.
By the way, but yeah, I mean, I was trying to compare that to a Glock. So that's how naive I was. I was like, man, you want me to pay this for this Glock, and I can go down here and get this Sigma? They look the exact same for $299. Mm-hmm. And then you went in and then you were like, well, let me explain the differences to you and what you're getting.
Yeah.
You know. And then I was like, oh. And then I was sold right there. I was like, I'll take it.
And then it wasn't long after that.
Of course, it helped that there were two police officers in there also.
And they weren't carrying Sigmas.
And they had and they didn't. They had the Glock strapped to their hip.
Oh yeah.
I could hear their snickers in the background. I was like, man, I can't walk out of here, with my head held high unless I walk out with that gun. So
Hey, y'all probably never get muzzled here, right, by customers?
Oh god.
Never happens.
I mean, never more than 20 or 30 times a
30
day.
times a day.
Okay, that's well.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
That's not bad. At
but
all.
do you point it out to the person when they're doing it and say, you're not supposed to do that?
I do sometimes in a nice, professional way, and sometimes I just let it go because I don't need to get into a whole informational story.
You don't dive behind the counter going, God!
Well, it was unloaded, and why I have to sit there and tell them to
Why?
always treat a firearm as it's always loaded, and you'll never do that, and you'll never get into a complacent type.
But if somebody was actually pointing it in your face while they were testing it.
They get it snapped. I have had that done before. I've had it done with a loaded firearm before.
Oh, good
and
Lord.
It happens.
I just have to say that she lost some fingernails
Wow.
in a nice way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, in the unmentionable store that we were talking about before, that was another thing that was just bugging the bejesus out of me.
Mm-hmm.
The people that they were letting look at them.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, one of the guys had it pointed right between the guy's eyes, and he was just sitting there telling him about. Didn't say, "Hey, sir, don't point that down."
Mm-hmm.
Didn't try to correct him or anything. I mean, I had to step over there and put the guy's hand out. I said, "Guy, you're not supposed to do that."
Oh yeah, people that intentionally do stuff like that. I mean, I have been known to tell them just put the gun down and please leave because if they're going to be that reckless with it.
Well, obviously the guy didn't know.
Right.
He was just some jackwagon off the street coming in.
Oh.
Probably didn't have anything better to do, and he wanted to look at some guns.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he was just slinging around the store like it, was a little plastic. What do you call them? Cap guns.
I strongly believe if we could get gun education back in the country like we educate our children and everybody else on everything else that we do, we'd have a whole lot less.
Amen, brother.
I remember in
Amen.
junior high, hunter safety was part of the junior high program.
Sure
here.
was.
Like that was part of your PE class.
And that's probably why we didn't have what we have going on nowadays.
One thing I will say about about muzzling and stuff in a store, it is a little difficult. I mean, when you're trying to show somebody a firearm, we're working over a counter. There's really no way to not point it at the customer or not point it at yourself or not point it at the guy next to the counter.
Right.
It's saying that, obviously you always keep your muzzle in a safe direction, but you also notice at a good gun store, before I hand anyone a gun, it's open, it's cleared. Mm-hmm. I've checked it. I've checked the inside. I've checked the outside. Mm-hmm. I'll hand it to the customer. When the customer hands it back to me, I check it again.
Mm-hmm.
Before I put it back in the case, I'll check it a third time.
Mm-hmm.
I was told by somebody when I first started looking at guns, it may have even been a YouTube video or something, where they said there's kind of like this secret handshake. If you go to a gun store and they do a safety check and they hand it to you, you do a safety check again.
It's
Absolutely.
etiquette.
Yeah,
it's always been an etiquette thing.
Yeah.
It was.
So-
It was almost unheard of back when I grew up. If I handed somebody a firearm that the action wasn't open on it, I can tell you that my dad gave
That's
me an
like
earful.
handing somebody with the blade.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
right.
The handle.
It's an etiquette thing.
And it's things new shooters don't know, so we try to help them out as best we can in the most friendly manner
And
we
there are
can.
polite ways to do it.
Absolutely. And then there's ridiculous ways like diving behind the counter and hollering at people.
Don't point it at
Which
me.
I have
You should
seen.
do a training video for your new employees. This is the way to properly. This is the way not to do it.
Y'all need to have like a muzzle alert alarm.
I don't hire people who don't already know that's not the way to do it.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Do you have any like just absolutely out there crazy stories? Even maybe not just from here, but anywhere else you've worked where you just saw that and it will always stick in your mind. from working at a gun
I sold
store?
law enforcement equipment for the last 13 years. I have seen amazing things that most people would not believe. I've seen more negligent discharges than I could count with all my fingers and toes and all your fingers and toes and everybody in this building's fingers and toes.
Yeah.
I have seen some of the most insane, most ridiculous, most unsafe. And I can say it now because I don't sell law enforcement
I was going to
equipment
say,
anymore.
this is in the law enforcement community.
And
huh?
it is frightening.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the things I've seen, and I mean, I've been downright scared
I
on
can
more
imagine.
than one occasion, and said, "I'm out of here."
Do y'all,
See
do y'all
you guys later.
Do y'all get that a lot? Like a military guy or a police officer will come in. Oh, I don't need your help. I'm a cop. Or oh, I'm in the army. Or
We get a little bit of it, but I haven't had a whole lot of it here yet. Of the common expert I've been trained, because I'm a cop or something like that. Most all the police officers that come in here, the Metro guys are great. They just keep to themselves. They just are looking up and down. They've got good questions to ask and stuff like that. Nobody's really act like they're a know-it-all, or anything like that.
I saw it happen once at an academy, and I'm looking at the guy, and I'm sitting there going, this guy does not look like he's a police officer. There's just no way. And he kept on, and the guy was like, well, sir, you don't need to do this. And finally, a real cop comes up, and he goes, oh, really? Where are you a police officer at? And all of a sudden, the guy just started shaking his boots, and he couldn't come up with anything. He was just wanting to be left alone.
Right.
So, oh, I'm a cop. I don't need your help kind of thing. And it was pretty funny.
I think that a lot of that too comes from the attitude of the store itself. If you've got a bunch of know-it-all, pompous guys behind the counter, your customers are going to tend to start being know-it-all and pompous. So when you got a friendly, kickback,
Laid back
friendly
environment.
staff, and you got a different kind of vibe. You don't get as many
set
of
the
those
tone
people.
for 'em,
you kind of set the tone exactly, and you don't get as many of those type of people. So you get what you put out a lot of times, and I think that's why you'll be at gun shows and see a lot of that.
No, not at gun shows. So in Nashville, and y'all may not be able to say this, and I'll edit it out if y'all can't. We're Music City. You ever seen any big names come in here shooting?
Absolutely, tons and tons and tons.
Really?
Sports stars, music stars. People love to
Movie
shoot.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do a lot of filming here too.
Yeah.
A lot of movies and TV shows.
We've done a lot. We've seen a lot of football players, a lot of sports stars, a lot of musicians.
And I see we're not going to get any name dropping, are we?
I'm not going to drop names just because I think the reason that they enjoy coming here is because we
The
don't make a
anonymity.
big deal.
Yeah.
We don't have them signing pictures and sticking them on the wall.
right.
We just want them
That's
to come
good.
in and have a good time. A lot of them bring their families,
Very cool. We
their
can
kids
respect
and
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we just kind of take care of them. They're, as far as I'm concerned, they're just a customer. I'm going to give them the best service that I can, regardless.
And that's the way most people like that want to be treated anyway.
And I think the majority of them that have come in here, I haven't seen one of them, and some of them are pretty big names. They have not acted like I should get special treatment or anything like that, and they don't get special treatment. They want to just be normal people and do what they want to do, And Andrew's right. We don't go out of the way and make them take a picture and sign an autograph and hang it on the wall, say they were here or anything like that. They come back over and over and over again, and it's like their own little club. So we're happy to have them for sure. It kind of sets the tone, and it's pretty cool to meet some of these people. We don't make a big deal out of it.
Sometimes I do get a little goofy. Some of them are really cool.
that's when we walk in, right?
Yeah, that's
Hey,
true.
has Ted Nugent ever been in here?
No, I haven't seen the Nuge.
No, the Nuge would be really cool. I'd met him years ago, but I'd like to see him again.
Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of professional shooters in here too. So that's
Oh, yeah, that's
those
very
are the people I get goofy for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not us.
We've got a couple that are part of our
I mean-
I love you, buddy. Always get happy.
our
when it
network.
comes in.
He always shakes when we walk in.
Yeah,
shakes.
I get that excited.
He's like, not
it's
those
because
idiots
talking
again.
They've got
it's
money in
because
their
you're real
wallet.
tall.
They've got money in their wallet and they want to spend it.
Money.
I did bring a guy in that bought an AR, AK, and 2 pistols.
Yeah,
That was a good day for you guys.
Thanks again,
That's
Z.
good.
Yeah, hey, no problem. Still hadn't seen my commission on that, but anyway.
You're getting it right now, buddy. Right
I
now.
was going to say, we're getting an
This-
exclusive interview right here.
We don't do this for just anyone.
Let's go ahead and go to our trivia from last week. We asked what was the Lone Ranger's first name. We would have accepted one of 2 things.
Dan or John.
And explain.
And his last name is Reed.
Correct.
I don't think anybody had questions on as far as his last name went.
No.
But, with pop culture, I don't think they've ever come out and said what his name is. So you've got the comic books, you've got movies, you've got the old radio, and each one of those you've got different versions of how he came about his name. Dan was his brother, I think, in one
of them, right?
One version. There was a movie where I think it was back in the 80s the Lone Ranger, and he had done like a grave, a tombstone for himself, and there was a name on there. I think it was John on that one. I think that might be where the John really came from, but there's just no way to pinpoint what his first name really is. So
now the big question is, because there was no way to pinpoint it, we had one person answer Ranger Reed because nobody knew what his name is, because he knew that nobody knew what his name was. Are we going to count that?
Ranger Reed? Mm-hmm. I would probably accept the before I would Ranger.
Okay.
Because the is the first.
But he got the other one right, so he still got the double bonus.
He gets his name in the pot, definitely, for attempting. Yeah, no doubt.
Speaking of the bonus,
he doesn't get the triple.
The triple. He just gets 2.
He gets dos.
Right.
No tres.
The other bonus answer was who was the Lone Ranger's great nephew, which I thought this was very cool, being that, growing up I was a comic book geek.
Yeah.
Green Hornet.
The Green Hornet.
Hornet was
Sean
the
knew
Lone Ranger's
these,
great nephew.
and he didn't chime in on tweets or Facebook. Why not, man?
I don't know, man.
You afraid people think you're a geek?
No. I mean, my wife, she's sitting there telling me, "Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it?" I'm like, I don't know. I just, let somebody else win it.
A lot of people nailed that one.
Good news. We hit our 100 Twitter followers and 100 Facebook likes. And I've got all the names cut up and put in a little thing. And since Marty picked last time, I'll have him shake it, and I'll get to pick
let's
this time.
let our guest pick.
You want to pick?
So this is a drawing for.
Right,
what are we drawing
Sean
for?
is picking. This is for the
NC Star Zombie Light.
Zombie Strike Railman of Light.
Strike Flashlight.
So this is the one that's been lasting 8 weeks of
so here we go. Sean's drawing now. And the lucky winner is...
Drum roll. Bob L. Joey is flipping out right now.
Did you put Joey's name in here?
Joey had like 20 in there. And he even predicted, he said, it's time for me to lose another drawing.
I tell you, here's what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to give Joey one more shot.
Well, Bob L still gets the light.
He gets it.
Okay, he gets. Oh, you're going to give Joey something else?
We're going to give another one here. We're going to give another light.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Wow. Left hand getting generous here.
All right, so...
Okay. I'm reaching in. Left hand's being generous. And it is Joey B.
There you go, Joey. You get your light.
He had like 20 inch. Well, there weren't 20, but he had every entry you could possibly have, and he didn't get that first one. But it was fair.
But if you didn't get it that time, Joey, you were going to be SOL, buddy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that was going to be funny. So Bob L., you know who you are. I think he's up north.
So they both owe us pictures.
We get pictures of your light
mounted on their favorite weapon,
whatever gun you put it on.
Maybe they'll put it on and dress it up for our AR beauty contest.
That would be cool. This week's trivia: Walking Dead is going to come back this weekend.
Yay!
Woohoo!
So the trivia question is: in season 3, episode 1, what gun is Herschel using while sniping from the watchtower in the prison? Now, the bonus is, what is very weird about that gun that pretty much only gun guys will roll our eyes about? So that is the trivia, and I'm going to beg Andrew to give us like a hat or something to give away, because we don't have anything else to give away.
We can probably find something floating around in here.
I saw a dirty hat over there on the floor. I mean, you probably wouldn't mind that one.
Well, it was by the dumpster.
Oh.
And I picked it up and brought it in, so just in case somebody needed a hat.
I saw a neat pamphlet up there with...
We do have some pamphlets. We could give some really nice flyers away.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. All right, I've got a question for you. Can we come in here on your big 70-inch screen TV and watch the season premiere of The Walking Dead?
We have been doing that since we opened, just so everyone knows. But we actually close at 7 p.m., so it's more of an employees-only thing. But I guess
think you could,
if Zeke and Left Hand want to come in, we could probably
awesome.
let them come in and watch it with us.
Wives too, or girlfriend and wife.
Are they hot?
Well, you just saw my wife.
Oh yeah,
she was here a minute ago.
That's right, Gary. Well, if he finds out your wife's going to be there, Gary's going to want to come too.
My girlfriend.
We try to keep Gary away from our employee functions because he says a lot of inappropriate things.
Does she know how to listen to a podcast?
No.
Okay, you're good.
No.
Gary's the owner. If anybody's
you know
curious.
the TV show Nashville?
Yeah.
My girlfriend's on that.
It's really cool.
Occasionally, from time to time.
Sweet. Haven't seen it yet. I probably should watch it since I live in Nashville.
It's pretty cool.
I haven't watched it either, so I don't feel bad.
Did they do any shooting in that?
Does it have guns?
Did they do any shooting in that show?
Actually, yeah, somebody got shot a couple episodes ago, I think, or maybe it's coming up.
They were doing
I can't give that away. You're going to have to...
They were doing a casting call today, I think, for Bad Looking Bikers.
Were they?
And it was my day off. I was thinking about going down there.
That would have been perfect.
Yeah. Not that
He's
I'm
lying. He's a teddy bear.
I'm a teddy bear.
What is that guy's name from Duck Dynasty that looks like you? Every time I see that show, I'm like, oh my
Duck
god,
Dynasty.
He's the
I haven't
dumb
seen
one.
that either.
No
Oh,
offense,
no offense, yeah.
he just looks like it, but he's the dumb one. The bald one. With
I know
the
who you're
blonde
talking
goatee.
about. I don't know his name. Morgan's here. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the AR beauty pageant. I am going to put a deadline on that of March the 1st. We have not gotten a single picture. I talked to somebody today that refuses to put the picture up because he doesn't want anybody to know what gun he has. We're not going to post your name. We're not going to say this guy.
You don't have to send
AR
a
is
picture of
episode.
yourself with the gun.
No, just send a picture of your AR decked out, however you got it decked out, and put
Have we
the
posted
description
the
of all your
rules
stuff.
yet? We got to post the rules.
Yeah, we'll probably help with it.
Yeah, maybe that's why we haven't got
Can
any.
you take a picture with your AR and a hot chick in a bikini holding it?
It's funny you should say that
Sure.
because we mentioned that in the last episode.
And I think Left Hand said that the judges can be swayed, and I think that may have been what he was hinting towards.
What if she's sitting on a motorcycle holding an AR wearing a hot bikini?
What kind of
hey,
motorcycle?
we get bonus points for that kind of stuff.
crotch rocket?
Oh, heck no.
The more
Yes,
creative
then
they
it will
are with the
count.
Do I
photo,
look like a crotch rocket rider?
Hey, you don't look like a revolver owner. Either.
Hey, hold on again. One more time. What's with the revolver cracks, guys?
but the revolvers fit more in with a hog than they do.
So we've got until the March 1st to get those pictures into us. We're going to take those pictures, have a few military law enforcement guys come in. I've already got one guy, he's a SWAT team leader. He's going to come in, and they're going to look at your pictures, your AR, and say, okay, that's functional because of this, or this would
You
work
guys
because
want
of
to be
that.
on the panel?
Y'all can come in and do it too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do it
Heck
here.
yeah.
Then they can be
I don't think
eligible
I'm
for the-
qualified because I have a revolver. I'm sorry.
So, this would be a good place
put
to
a
do
butt
the
stock
beauty
on it.
pageant. Yeah. So that's the AR
Put
beauty
a rail
pageant.
mount on it.
Remember,
I
get it
know
in
nothing tactical. I own a revolver.
A tactical revolver with a rail.
Smith & Wesson
light
already makes one.
Do they?
Yeah, it's pretty
Picatinny
badass.
rail.
Tactical revolver?
Oh yeah, it has
Yeah.
rails, everything on it. It's all black.
You put a reflex sight on it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, have y'all had the tactical? The one I was talking about last at Mossberg, the 30-30 lever action tactical.
We haven't had one.
No, we haven't.
No,
had
we haven't had one of those
I know which one you're talking about, but we haven't had one.
I want one of those too.
We can get you one of those.
Okay, all right.
That's a whole lot easier to get than an AR right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm looking at something on the wall over here.
I'm
Which
watching.
one is that?
I'm watching this
He's
girl out
supposed to be
here.
The
doing a
Remington?
Speaking of-
program, and he's sitting here looking at guns on the opposite wall.
I'm
And his
watching
eyes are getting all glassy.
we've
I'm
had
watching
to
this
like
girl out here
wipe
shoot
our
this.
mouth.
I've had a boner this whole
SKS.
show just looking at the. Not looking at you. You probably think I'm looking at
Did
you,
you
but
just
I'm
say
actually
you've
looking at the
had
guns
a boner
behind you.
this whole show?
I've had a boner this.
I'm disturbed because he's sitting directly across from me, and I'm taking
wasn't
the
my
mic and
foot
I'm
hitting your
moving
knee.
back slowly.
Oh my god!
I'm at the Nashville Armory, maybe.
I am a good-looking man, though. Just in case anyone wants to know, I'm a very good-looking man.
He doesn't
That's
look like the dumb
subjective.
guy from Duck Dynasty. He looks like the owner from Duck Dynasty. He looks like Willie.
Yeah, we know his name because he's the owner, right?
Guys, it's time for facts to fight the myths.
Who's going first?
Sean said he had one, and we like to let the guest
right,
come in
guest
and
go first.
bring one in.
My fact to fight the myth. I thought about this one today, and it kind of plays on a little bit of what we hear at the gun store sometimes. The guy always wants to come in and wants the one gun that's going to put a man to the ground, stop him, knock him off his feet, whatever it is.
Fly backwards 20 feet into
He's
a
only
wall.
got to hit him once, and it's going to happen.
They want
you
a
know.
bazooka.
And I kind of have to stop people sometimes and tell them there's really no shoulder fired or handgun or anything that's going to take a person and make them fly through the air like it does in the movies. You know, I mean, maybe a howitzer, but those are a little hard to conceal.
RPG.
The basic facts are the only way you can truly knock a man to the ground and make him completely fall down is by a single shot to the spinal cord, all right, which will cause the body to flop to the ground. Bullets basically cause holes that cause blood loss that eventually a person will lose enough blood in their outer extremities that will cause them to fall down. But there is not one specific round out there, whether it be a shotgun, a rifle, whatever it is, although shotguns and rifles do work a lot better than
Nothing
handguns.
handheld. Nothing
but nothing
handheld.
handheld. So the whole debate about the 9mm versus the 45,
The Desert Eagle,
or
50
anything
cal.
like that, it just doesn't work. So you have to poke enough holes in the bad guy to cause enough blood loss to cause
which causes oxygen loss.
Correct.
Which is the ultimate killer.
That's exactly right.
Do taser darts count as rounds?
They're not guns. Yeah.
Do they knock people off their feet, though?
They don't knock people off their feet, but they will
to the ground.
They will bring them to the ground.
Dance.
Yeah.
Really funny dance.
They just lock up. If it's an actual taser gun, it'll actually just lock up. They'll do what's called a full lock up, where they cannot. They lose all control motor function. You lock in the position you're in when you're hit, and then you'll typically fall to the ground. I've seen a few people that stay standing in like a really weird position. Depends on how they're hit.
So unlike frogs, when they're shot,
right?
People aren't going to.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not going to.
I'm not picking on frogs.
They're not going to. They're not going to be shot with a shotgun and
shot
fly 30 feet through. Oh yeah, I've shot lots of frogs.
They jump out of their shoes, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
So my myth is newer laws lower gun violence. That's the myth. And the fact in that one is all I need to do is talk about a very recent instance. A person steals a gun, which is against the law. Shoots and kills his own mother, which is against the law. Transports these guns loaded, which is against the law. Brings guns onto school property, which is against the law. Breaks into the school, which is against the law. Discharges the weapons within the city limits, once again, against the law. Murders 26 people, which is against the law. And then commits suicide, which is also against the law. And there are people in this country that somehow think that passing another law banning guns would protect us from someone like this. If you've noticed, people like this are not concerned about breaking laws. They only care about fulfilling their own twisted agenda. The only people that a gun ban law would impact are us law-abiding citizens, which will only serve to cripple the ability to protect ourselves. Thanks again to our listener, Big G, for that one. I'm kind of plagiarizing him, but I told him I'd give him credit. I mean, every single thing that kid did was against the law. But to fix it, we're going to pass new laws. Nah, that's a myth. Left hand, what you got?
Well, I'm going to go back to the movie myths. I don't think we've done this one yet, but the curving bullet from the movie Wanted back in 2008.
It's awesome.
You know, they'd sling their arms and
High Points and Lorsons do it.
High Points and Lorson. My first gun ever was the Lorson.
You got to get up to the mic here. Talk to us. So you're saying High Points and Larsons?
Yeah, High Points and Larsons will
So the lower end guns
will curve the bullets. That's actually completely true.
And I think that has to do with,
just so you know.
Well, I agree, because my Lorson, every bullet curved, but it curved when it went and stovepiped right out the top.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm speaking about.
The weight of those guns helps overcome the gravitational pull of the bullet. So I think that... No, that's a myth. Actually, Mythbusters did an episode on this. It was episode 123 of Mythbusters. Wow. And they actually designed a robot that would have greater than human strength to be able to whip a gun around and try doing that as well. Every time they did it, they did the path of the bullet, and it was a straight path every single time. Could not get the bullet to curve. So... I actually pulled a physics explanation as to what would actually have to occur to do
awesome.
this.
I'm usually the geek, and now you're out geeking me.
I think we all know that I'm the biggest geek here, but I just don't like to show it. And I'm not going to talk about this on the show, but I am going to post this on Facebook.
The physics thing?
Yeah, the little physics thing here.
Okay.
I bet that gets a ton of likes. Physics gets lots of likes.
That is way over my head.
I need to go into the theory of relativity on Facebook.
But you can curve a bullet. A bullet can be curved, and if you look at Plinkster 22 Plinkster's video, he actually does one, but you can't do it without external forces. He actually shoots a 22 bullet into this little stovepipe thing.
Curves
around.
I can tell you when we shoot 1,000-yard competitions, the wind sure does curve our bullets.
Well, that's true, yeah.
But, that's a complete different force. That's not us doing it.
Yeah, and it got me thinking on the way over here, too, that, you could design a bullet kind of like an arrow that when it comes out, little tail fins would pop up. Of course, the wind would help redirect it, but you'd have to have enough distance in order for it to do it. But I think you could design a bullet that would curve. You don't think so?
No, I don't know. Think
about the physics of it.
That'd be huge.
But I think you'd have no control on it, on where it went.
No, you would.
Yeah,
no.
I think the wind...
But it would curve,
the wind itself...
Who cares as long as it curves?
As long as it curves.
Yeah. The wind itself curves it enough.
What the radius of its curving.
Myth plausible.
Plausible. I need the stamp. Too bad we can't do that. It's on the radio.
You have to do a sound effect for that.
But wait,
I want to talk about some people that were in that movie.
Angelina Jolie.
Can we
Angelina
That's
Jolie.
a whole other episode of Angelina Jolie.
James McAvoy also played who, Zeke?
Professor Xavier in the latest X-Men movie.
Yeah, and then they've got another one coming out next year, the sequel to that one.
Nice.
Morgan Freeman was in that movie. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was in that one, Red. Is it called Red or Reds?
Yeah, that's a good movie.
There's a Red 2 coming out soon.
Yeah, they had some pretty sweet guns in that movie.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, Terrence Stamp. You guys know who Terrence Stamp is? Kneel before Zod. Superman 2.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp.
I caught 20 minutes of that on HBO.
He was also in Young Guns.
Yeah.
And he was in the Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp. He was one of the counselors, or not counselors, what do they call them? Senators or whatever.
I apologize. I'm not a Star Wars
The
nerd.
evil people.
Yeah.
Can you please send him out of this room now?
So
I do like the movies. I just don't know about, all the characters' names and who played them.
So let's go to some listener feedback. Big G in Arizona emailed, just started listening to your podcast. Matter of fact, listening to your first one right now. So far, I want to say change nothing. I'm really liking it. My name is, I won't say his name. His name is Big G.
Big G, yeah.
Here in Phoenix, I'm a gun enthusiast and recently picked up an XDS single stack 45 ACP. Great carry gun and shooter. My first pistol was a Glock 23C. 40 Smith & Wesson, has been souped up. I carry it every day, everywhere. I'm a CCW carrier and a member of the NRA and have a lifetime hunting and fishing license here in the state of Arizona.
Cool. That C brought up a question I want to ask these guys. One of our episodes, was it our third episode?
I think we've been talking about it since the first.
Yeah, we're trying to get a definitive answer on what justifies a gun being compensated. At what point is it officially compensated?
With the Glock, basically what they do is they put slits in the barrel. That's kind of like almost like a Magnaport. If anybody's familiar out there with the old Magnaport, that used to do it to revolvers to cut a great percentage out of the recoil recoil management of a recoiling muzzle rise of a 44 Magnum or some of those big Magnum revolvers. It's kind of the same concept there, but muzzle brakes, all right, really work a whole lot better than slits cut in things like that. In barrels like that, I try to. If you think of like, if you look at a muzzle brake, say on like a Abrams tank, it's got a chamber in it basically that forces that pressure, all right, inside that chamber to direct the muzzle down or direct the pressure outward to keep the muzzle straight,
right?
And direct it back rather than up. So that's kind of what a compensator or a muzzle brake is supposed to do.
So are you saying that once they port the barrel, then it's compensated?
It acts as a compensating type. It doesn't work as well as a chamber type compensator, though. I've found that on the C's, on the Glocks like that,
right,
it does one or two things. It kills your night vision because it blasts lots of flame up inside your sight view.
Yeah.
And it also, if you have a night sight on the front, it pretty much ruins it because
it's gone. Yeah.
It puts residue all over the face of the night sight, and it no longer glows until you wipe all that off.
Right.
So I'm not a big fan. I mean, I am a big fan of Glocks. I think is all you guys know, but
absolutely,
I do not like the compensated guns, and I don't think you get enough out of the recoil management of what they offer either.
So really, the main use for those would be competition?
Yeah, for the most part. Although,
really no other need for them other than that. Unless you like Dragonfire.
Yeah.
You'd really never want to carry a compensated pistol like that.
Right.
Not for personal
it's
defense.
Not a carry gun. Of course, that's my opinion. Everybody has an opinion, but I would never want to carry something that shoots fire out of the top of it when I'm carrying it for personal defense.
You want to hit the next feedback?
Which one are we on, Chris?
JB
on Facebook said, "Love the podcast. Thanks for recommending them. Left Hand." That would be me.
You actually recommended our show to somebody.
I did.
Not embarrassed anymore?
Still not using his real name, so there must be some sort of embarrassment there.
Anonymity.
Chris SB emailed, and I'm assuming that SB was his last name because his email was chrissb at whatever it was.
Okay.
He said, "Great show, guys. Nice to hear someone with a southern accent talking about guns. I subscribe to the other Firearms Radio Network podcast also, but y'all," and he capitalized y'all, "are easier to understand. LOL. Keep it up." We got
Cool.
some new iTunes reviews. Actually, just one. Keep it up. We got 5 stars. One Babylon 5 fan said, I'm enjoying the podcast. Look forward to a lot more. Thanks. And everybody out there, make sure you go to iTunes and do those reviews. That's what helps our ranks go up and make us be seen by more people when they go to look at the Outdoor Podcast.
And go to our Facebook and like us.
Yes, like us on
that helps us
Facebook,
also.
follow us on Twitter. Thank you again.
Unless you don't like us, then don't go.
Yeah.
Throw us a bone, though. Help us out.
Thanks again to Andrew and Sean from the Nashville Armory. If you're ever in the Nashville area, swing by and see them. What's the address here, Andrew?
4290 Kennelwood Drive, and that's Kenilwood, Kennelwood. With my southern accent, people can't seem to pick that up when I'm talking to them on the phone.
And if you get lost, keep driving up and down I-65. You'll see it. It's right on the interstate.
What are your hours?
Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays.
That's about time for closing, isn't it? We
Yep.
better get these boys out of here.
So check them out, www.nashvillearmory.com. Oh, I almost forgot left hand. EDC check. Oh, and I had somebody ask. Not everybody out there may know what EDC means. It's everyday carry. So when we say EDC check, we're going to ask what we're carrying at that point in time.
EDC check. You going with me first?
Yeah, I'm going to go last.
All right. I got the Walther PPS.
Okay.
Ankle. Black Hawk holster. I got the Glock 23.
You already cleared everything? Yeah, you already cleared
Everything's cleared. Cleared it before I came in. You're not supposed to come into the gun range with a
I thought it
loaded
said
weapon.
unless legally.
You can absolutely carry your loaded, legally carried firearm into our store.
As long as we
but
have our
it has
license.
to be cleared if you want to take it out in the range and shoot it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and
Thanks
we
for
don't,
clarifying
and
that.
we don't want to see it. Just leave it where it's at.
Okay.
No loaded firearms can go into the range.
Gotcha.
The only place a loaded firearm is in the range is on the shooting bench.
All I have to say is, oops.
You know, hey, things happen.
Oh, and you were also mentioning that you guys have some unique hours for your gun training, gun classes.
Our permit classes, yeah, we do.
Permit
We do
classes.
permit classes a lot. One of our popular ones is our late night carry class. We do at least one Friday night a month. We do a 5:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. carry class, which
That's
is really
awesome.
popular. Young people like it. A lot of people that work third shift love it.
Yeah, swing shift workers.
Yeah, they absolutely love it. So those usually fill up quick. So get on our website, click on the calendar, and see when the next one's offered. We also mix it up. 2-night classes if you don't want to do them during the day. We do weeknight classes, a Wednesday, Thursday night from 5 to 9, back-to-back nights, and we do them all day Saturdays, all day Sundays. We do them during the week for guys like me who work all weekend. You know, can't get a Saturday or Sunday off. You know, we do them on random Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
That's awesome.
Throughout the month. So just check back. We
So
definitely
just call
have-
you guys up, and then they can get on the.
Just go to the website, man. Go to the
That's
website.
all
You
on the
can
website.
register for the class on the website. You pay for the class on the website. It's all done online. Very simple.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a class that can pretty much fit anybody's schedule.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got the Glock 20. I'll finish my EDC check here. Glock 23, Walther PPS, and then, of course, I've got my trusty Tool Logic with the flashlight,
And
the fire starter, and the
Rape
whistle.
God, did it again.
Rape whistle.
All right.
All right, so what do
Andrew, what are you carrying?
Andrew?
Well, Andrew's carrying a revolver. I carry a Smith & Wesson J-frame 5-shot 38. That's usually my everyday carry, but sometimes I add in some other stuff. But that's what I'm carrying right now at the moment, and I carry it in the most sophisticated manner in my pocket.
You don't carry it in the small of your back, do you?
I don't carry in the small and back.
Do you recommend carrying in the small of the back?
If you like being uncomfortable, then absolutely carry in the small.
Or possibly being
anymore.
paralyzed if you slip and fall. And
Yeah, that could also happen.
Don't do it anymore.
Bruising spines is
Or you
never
get a
fun.
sweaty butt crack.
what was the abbreviation for that?
SOB.
SOB.
Yeah, SOB, small of back.
Small of back carry.
So,
Zeke is no longer
what
an
you got?
SOB.
Sean.
My everyday carry has been the same for many years. It's a Glock 17 on my hip. I carry a Glock 26 on my ankle, and I carry a Smith & Wesson 340 PD in my pocket.
Nice.
I'm
Three gunner.
very it's
My
all
hero.
it's all redundancy. I mean, nobody can rely on one specific gun. If something malfunctions, and yes, I did say if something, even a Glock, malfunctions.
It can happen.
It can happen.
It has happened.
Something breaks, something, whatever. Maybe I run out of ammo. Maybe it's one of those just movie-type firefights, and I got to go to all 3 guns. Who knows? But at the end of the day, I'm going home to see my kids and my wife, so.
You're going to get there one way or the other.
Exactly.
Very nice. And the good thing about, you make a good point there. You said, this is what you always carry, is the
familiarity.
Thank you, of your firearm. That way, exactly when you reach what you don't think, oh, what did I pack today?
And I carry it in the same holster, in the same location.
Very important.
Every time I put my pistol on, all 3 pistols, I do a draw stroke with them in the house. They go back to their location. When I take them off at night, I do a draw stroke. I'm getting a lot of free. Didn't have to go to the range and do draw stroke stuff.
Did you just say you got a free stroke?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said? I thought I heard free strokes.
Yeah.
Andrew with
multiple
the
free strokes.
Multiple free strokes at home.
Well, that's okay.
As long as you're not doing it in public.
So me, I
Zeke,
I think people got sick of me always having my Mr. 40 or my Taurus 357, and I thought it'd be a little different. I'm carrying my PS90 FN. It is a nice little concealed carry weapon for a big guy like myself.
PS90.
Yeah, it's right here.
And where did you come up with this?
It is actually I thought I wanted something a little unique for my carry weapon, and found it. It has got the Picatinny rail on top, the magazine's on top. We talked about this in our Bullpup and Pitbull episode. It's chambered in 5.7 by 28, made by Fabrique Nationale in Belgium. And I am completely lying. I am holding one right now, but this is one of the rental firearms from the Nashville Armory. I didn't carry it in here. I wish I did. That'd be awesome. I wish I could just carry it around town all day long because it's cool. But Left Hand just took some pictures. We'll post it on the...
because it was full.
Okay, I'll take a couple pictures then, and we'll post it on Facebook. So that is our EDC check. That's it, guys. Thanks again, and Left Hand as always. Keep your loved ones close.
And keep your firearms closer.